There's the green light. Hello, everybody. We are going to be playing our Kick Your Fanny Friday for the Foundations to Ukulele class. I'm going to go take a run over and post the link onto the website. The website is jollyrogerukulele.com. And today, patience while it reloads. Today we are playing from stuff from the week, which includes paste, shift, link, enter, edit. Make a Better bar worksheet, our major scale sheet, strumming in the key of C, My Spaghetti Monster, and Three Blind Mice. This is sort of the meat and potatoes of the future in ukulele this week. And so last week we were just getting you comfortable working on holding the ukulele and not having having the right expectations, I think, overall as a musician. And then this week we actually get into the nuts and bolts of the higher level thinking that goes along with treating the ukulele as an instrument rather than accompaniment to singing. Let me tweet us while everybody's getting loaded in here. I just got the link posted. https://jolly roger ukulele.com. I'm going to put .com on the end or nothing happens. And then I click here and I put our little graphic on there. I'm going to change this graphic from time to time. Let's see. I don't think I need to have that thing anymore. I'm going to delete that one. Where's cut? Where's delete? Microsoft has so many things on their little floating menus. All right, so that's that. That's exactly the one I want. We hit tweet. And off we go. So we're all tweeted out, and that's that. And as you guys get loaded in, let me know how the sound is. We've had pretty good sound overall. I made some adjustments to the system. We're using some new software, and I think everything. I think I've just about got everything figured out on our broadcasting software now, where I can start doing more and more fancy stuff. And now I just have to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing to make this seem fancier. So let me know as you get logged in if the sound is good at your house. Jim made it in. He's in from northern Alberta, Canada. Good to see you, Jim. Good day from Fort McMurray. Snowed last night. Haha. He says snowed last night. Haha. Snows every night, Jim. You live on the North Pole. Exercise complete, right? Exercise complete. Do you shovel? I don't know. If you live in northern Canada, do you even shovel? You're just like, oh, screw it. It's gonna snow again in 10 minutes. Cooled off to -11 last night. Brr. Bright and sunny day with blue skies. Cheers went up though. Yeah, I imagine you get plenty of beautiful days. They're probably always cold, but probably lots of beautiful days up there. I can only imagine. One of these days I'm gonna jump in the car and come visit you, Jim. I'll walk up. Jim, let me in. It's freezing out here. Put a log on the fire. I don't know. Does everybody have a fireplace? I bet they do. Sound is good. Vic is in. Raining up in Eugene. Mary, she lives here in west of Denver with me, and not with me, not too far from me. And it was fascinating in Denver. Like, I live in central Denver, which most people in Denver are like, why do you live down there? It's ridiculous. And then they're mostly in Denver, outlying areas, and most people live out there, and people get a little passionate about their outlying area. So if you live in Aurora, which is east here, you don't tell people that. You tell them you live in Denver. But if you live out west, just very specific, like this is Wheat Ridge. Those Wheat Ridge people are crazy. And then Arvada. Once you move to Arvada, that's it. You never move. You just stay there till you die. And Golden is sort of the fancy area. That's where Mary lives. She's fancy. And then let's see what else is going on. Little static. Okay, one of the things, Mary, let me know. Right now, the heater is running, and so there's air blowing out of the vent up here. And I've been messing around with that, trying to figure out how to get it to be quieter. But I think the static you're hearing is probably the air moving. And I'm one of these days I'm thinking about just switching. The bed sits over here. I'm just thinking about flip flopping the whole room, but of course that's 3 hours worth of work. I don't know if I don't know if my mind can handle that or not. So yeah, so I think that's what's going on. If this continues to be a thing, which I think it's going to be, it may make some sense for me to start making some changes to this room to make broadcasting a little, to get me away from that daggone vent is what I'm thinking about doing. So yeah, I'll let you know when it turns off, and then you'll let me know if you still hear the heat, the static. I did turn the humidifier off, and we'll see. Vic says she's not hearing that static. Jim, you're welcome anytime. Summers are awesome here. Long days and nice and hot. Oh, Jim, I gotta be honest with you. I don't trust your version of hot. I'm thinking if it breaks freezing up there, you're like, golly, it's hot. I'm gonna go swimming. Got to be honest about that. All right, guys, that's enough goofing. Let's get going. Every Friday we have a concert of the stuff we learned from the week. The heater just turned off, so Mary, let me know if you are still hearing any static. The vent is turned off. The room is perfectly silent at the moment, and I'm hearing myself echoing in the room, thinking, "Well, I got to deal with the echo now." So there's that. Normally, I leave the humidifier running, so that kind of breaks down the echo. Every Friday we have a concert. Every Friday, I'm hoping that you'll show up with all of your stuff ready to go from the week. You've studied it, just feeling pretty good about it. Here's your opportunity to try it. Let's start with your Make It Better bar worksheet today. Let's start on ukulele. We're going to go all the way down and all the way back. Remember, going down, it's thumb, index, middle, ring, and then coming back, it's ring, middle, index, thumb. And I just realized I have not touched this ukulele this morning, so let's make sure I'm in tune. And we'll keep moving forward. There we go. Let's give it a try. From the top, 1, 2, ready, play. Change your pattern. Beautiful. Hopefully that's going well for you. Try every day as you sit down to play ukulele, or trying to play every single day. It'll for a little bit. You sit down and just do that. That's it. If you only have time, if you walk in, you've had a long day, your dog tired, and you're like, I just can't do it tonight. Go sit in your music chair and just do that, and then go to bed. Right? That will count as something. From the top, baritones. 1, 2, 3, 4. of those, I can feel some tightness there in that muscle, and that's exactly what I'm working on. I want to make sure that muscle continues to get stronger, better, more beautiful, and I want to really stay focused in on building up as much hand strength as I can, because in addition to hand strength, we'll have to work on speed issues, but the strength is probably the more important of all that. The vent noise doesn't bother me, just saying. Well, I don't want it to be heard quite clearly. That's one of the things I'm working on, is trying to make, I want the sound on these videos to be pretty nice, so that it will, when people come to sit down and learn from a recording, that they sound okay. Rob made it in, 52 degrees and soggy there in Texarkana. Stay comfortable, Gary. That's one of the things I'm known for, is being comfortable. Let's see. That was it. It's all quiet except for you. Okay, so it is that daggone fan. All right. So I got to figure that out. But I gotta keep the heat on in this room. I'm not like Rob running around with no heat, All right. Next up, we're gonna grab our major scale sheets. This goes all the way back to Monday. Let's grab ukuleles first. Baritone players, you're going to probably just sit out on this for just a second, because we're going to get to you in just a second. Big takeaways from Monday. One, you probably really do need to memorize what the piano keyboard, the names of the notes on a piano keyboard. You probably really need to do that. Second thing, certainly the white notes. You've got to know C turns into D, into E, to F, G, and so on. And then you need to know if there's a black note in between those two. And so getting that pattern memorized is important. The other big takeaway from Monday is you do not need to memorize the names on the fretboard unless you want to. It's perfectly a fun thing to do if you want to do it. It's, at the end of the day, it's not going to serve you like it does on other instruments to know the names of everything on here. Maybe once you become a classical guitarist, it's important, but that's an academic issue, not really a player issue. The players don't really need to know the names of this stuff on here, because we know shapes, we know places what we got to be, all of that sort of thing. Next thing on here, the other one is make sure you're using index for ones, middle for twos, and rings for three, and pinky for four. This 4-finger pattern is very, very classical in nature. This is really how we play on larger instruments. You have to play this way. You just can't reach as far. On ukulele, we get a fudge a little bit. It's pretty easy to reach up a couple of frets, 2-3 frets. Pretty easy to reach back 1 or 2 frets. So we'll fudge on this a little bit, but for the most part, it's a pretty standard issue. Way to think about your melody playing is 1, 2, 3, 4. And if it's in this fret, you're going to use this finger. If it's in this fret, you're going to use this finger, and so on. And if it turns out it makes more sense to play in second position or third position or fifth position, often we'll even play all the way down here in ninth position. And so all of those things are going to be part of your life. On this particular piece of music, we're looking just at the C scale. We're going to play it through twice. Okay, so look at the C scale. Baritone players, you pretty much can sit out on this part. From C to C and back, we'll do it twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 0, 1, 3, 0, 2, 3. We'll turn around. 2, 0, 3, 1, 0, 2, 0. Keep going. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, A, G, F, E, D, C. Okay. Your goal there, making sure the notes are clean, more or less equal. Not all the notes are about the same volume, about the same length. The ones on the higher end of the scale, we sometimes put a little extra energy into those, but not a ton. And that you're making sure you're being very disciplined about using index, middle, and ring, and that's the only fingers you needed to use on that little scale there. And you notice on my right hand, it was just my thumb going through all that, making sure it was nice and clean and pretty. And the scales are good for warming up with. The scales are good for getting... just starting to understand how your instrument looks like when it's there. I think that's all I need to say about that. They're helpful, but not necessarily quite as helpful as you might have been led to believe. Okay. Baritones, you guys have 3 scales, okay? And the reason you guys get more scales is because you're going to end up playing accompaniment to ukulele often, and so we need you to be have a little bit more work in on these. Your C scale is actually a G scale, okay? So same exact pattern, but it's going to come out in the key of G. From the top of your page, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 2, 0, 1, 3, 0, 2. Turn around. 3, 2, 0, 3, 1, 0, 2, 0. One more time. Go. 0, 2, 0, 1, 3, 0, 2, 3, 2, 0, 3, 1, 0, 2, 0. Now let's do your D scale. Same thing. That's the next line down. Ready? Play. 0, 2, pinky. 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 2, 0, 2, 0, 4, 2, 0. Again. 0, 2, 4, 0, 2, 0, 2, 3, 2, 0, 2, 0, 4, 2, 0. Okay, and then finally, the ukulele scale, the key of C scale, you actually remember you're going to be switching positions. When you get that 5, you're going to put a mini bar, you're going to put a bar. You're gonna start a bar. You're gonna be serving drinks. You're gonna slide up and put your index finger on 5 to get in that 5th position. From the top, 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 3, 0, 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, 7, 5, 3, 1, 0, 3, 1. Again. Go. Okay, so there's your C scale. You're playing exactly the same notes by playing it that way that the ukulele players are playing with their scale. And so getting to know with baritone, because you're usually an accompaniment instrument, you will end up playing in a lot of keys that are not necessarily super on baritone. And that's why you got to get really comfortable with your chords much sooner than you're going to have to on ukulele. Okay. Next up, let's see. On my list, I want to skip the strumming in key of C major for the moment because I don't. Who knows how much time we'll have after I'm all done talking. And I want to go right to Spaghetti Monster. So let's go grab Spaghetti Monster. Let's play the ukulele version first, and then we'll play the baritone version. Again, baritone players, I'd sit out. Just make sure you see what's going on my left hand, and then we will go through and play the same instrument, same idea on your instrument. And then we will be able to join together in duets on 3 Blind Mice. Okay, so this is just ukulele players only. 1, 2, ready, play. Don't take your chord off until the instrument's done singing. Let's do it one more time. This will be your grand finale for Spaghetti Monster for the moment. Remember, I'm recommending you memorize this song so that you have something to play when somebody says, hey, I heard you're taking ukulele lessons. Why don't you play me something? And you're going to play them this song from the top. 1, 2, ready, play. a good song. It would do you some good to have one song that's not a crummy song memorized, right? Probably not going to want to play Frere Jacques for people. Probably would sound pretty good if you played that for people. Baritone players, same exact playing positions, just a different key for you. Instead of playing in C, we're going to be playing in G. Same, everything's the same. I felt like this was maybe possibly not entirely in tune. All right, so now the fan is kicked back on. Mary, let me know if you're hearing the fan. And if you are, I'm going to cry. The problem with these professional microphones is, boy, they're good. They're good. They're not quite professional level, but they're pretty decent microphones, and they have a tendency to pick up the noise. All right, from the top, baritone players only. 1, 2, ready, play. Hearing the fan. All right. Mary, you've ruined my weekend. All right, from the top. Maybe I'll switch it. One more time. 1, 2, ready, play. Okay, nice, right? So that was this week's big moment. Okay, that's when we took some chords that don't really make sense on their own, took a melody that you didn't know, smashed them all together, turned that into a chord melody arrangement, which includes playing the melody, same as you did prior, and then adding in pieces and parts of those chords as you play along. And once you... Did you say something, Gary? I can't hear you through the wind tunnel. Oh, these southern folk, they funny. Way to go, Rob. That joke never gets old. I have that on my harmonica boy, and it'll help with you. It'll help with your tin ear, and then right after that, huh? Question mark? What? Question mark? It's just never not funny. The other one we worked on this week was Spaghetti Monster. Okay, and ukulele players, you're going to be accompaniment now. You are grabbing your C chord. No, you're not. You're grabbing your G chord. Sorry. What am I doing? I should actually pull up the sheet music. I always like, I know what I'm doing. I don't need the sheet music. And then I realize I'm teaching you totally the wrong thing. Grab baritone, 3 blind mice, please. Baritone, 3 blind mice. See? Mary's laughing to death out there. 3 blind mice, baritone. Let's see. Mary, I have sensitive ears because I live in Golden. They make people who live in Golden have better ears than the rest of us. Yeah. Probably the difference is most of us have our laptops, right? We bought the cheapest laptop we could, and we have really crummy speakers on our laptops. And Mary, since she's from Golden, she probably has, a Bose acoustic, what they used to call it, Bose acoustic wave system. She probably has a wall of Bose speakers there, and so she actually can hear everything I do. All right, 3 blind mice, ukulele players. Index finger on the 3rd string, middle finger on the 1st string, 2nd fret, both those in the 2nd fret. Ring finger out here, 3rd fret, second string. That's your G chord. Okay, make sure that that's what your shape looks like. Okay, you're going to give me 4 strums per measure. Baritone players, we're going to play through this twice. First time we're going to go through, we're going to play the melody. Then the second time through, we're going to play the tough uke. Okay, so so remember, it's exactly the same. It's just that your thumb is going to drag down over the strings. Here we go. Can't help making dad jokes. I have made the same joke since I was 12, and because I only have about 4 jokes, and they work. Once you get jokes that work, you don't never let them go. And as about 5 years ago, I had crossed over some invisible line where they have suddenly become dad jokes. They were just funny jokes, but now all of a sudden, because I'm old, they're dad jokes, and I'm like, well, that doesn't mean that they're not funny. Come on. 3 blind mice, 2 times through baritone players. First time play the melody, second time play the tough uke. Ukulele players, nice, steady G chord, every single measure, 4 beats, however you want to do it. You can strum it with your thumb, you can strum it with your index finger, you can pluck it with your claw, you can arpeggio it with your make it better borrow skills. Okay, doesn't matter. From the top, melody first, tough uke second. 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum, strum, strum. Play. Strum. Strum. Isn't that cool? That sounds really pretty. I bet if you've got a ukulele at your house and you were strumming along with me, that sounded pretty cool. Even if you don't have merry speakers, what we have going on there is 2 completely separate ideas. If you've got a ukulele in your hand, you're playing the backup, the rhythm guitarist is what your job is. And then my job was to play lead guitar, which included both playing the melody and then playing the chord melody. And together we end up sounding really, really sophisticated and really nice. And so hopefully that's making sense to you. We're going to switch now to the ukulele music. And remember, on this one, baritone players, your C chord looks like middle finger up here, index finger on second string, first fret. That's your C chord. Okay? All right. Okay. Grab the ukulele version of this. It's exactly the same as the baritone version, but I like to look at it. I like to keep an eye on it. I've been teaching 3 blind mice since day 1, and I think it really provides the perfect entryway into that rest stroke playing. And so I really want to make sure that you're feeling those, your thumb is coming down, it's not accidentally hitting the wrong strings. And you'll hear it, the song won't sound right because you'll accidentally be, you know, you'll hit this lower string when you're not supposed to, and this weird plank will come out. All right, Three Blind Mice. From the top, 2 times through. Baritone players, you're giving me 4 beats per measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, no matter what's going on. Ukulele players, we have our C chord, but we're not going to use it a ton on this one. It does come up in a few places. Mostly you're making sure to get your rest stroke together. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum. Top. Go. Doesn't that sound nice? We just talking about 2020. You know what's fascinating about Three Blind Mice? We have no idea where it came from, and there's all these different theories about it. And one of the theories is that it's about three heretics getting burned. I don't know. It's 1609. Who knows what was going on there? It was envisioning what's going to happen in 2020, right? Three Blind Mice. See how they run. Oh God! And then of course you can get political. Well, there was only one blind mice. There was only one blind mouse. Oh gosh, that gets funny. We don't do politics here. A little bit, sometimes, not really. Okay, so those were the 2 big takeaways from the week. My Spaghetti Monster and Three Blind Mice. I want you to be feeling really solid with those. If you're not feeling particularly solid, take a little bit of time this weekend to just play through those until they're starting to sound like the song a little bit. Tough uke is going to be your new thing. That is definitely the thing I want you to be able to. 6 weeks from now, you're going to play it just fine. But in the beginning, it feels like a pretty big stretch, and so just know that that's going to go on next week. Let's go grab your key of C strummers, and it doesn't matter. We're going to play together. We both have exactly the same information on our key of C strummers, and it's just that ukulele has a different shape than baritone. So, key of C strummers, please. And I think I call it key of C strummers in here. F, G, H, I, J, J, K. Where's the K's? K, L. That's back there. What do I call it? Key of C strummers. Ukulele. H, I, J. Key of C strummers. Here it is. Jeez Louise. It turns out alphabetizing is not for the weak. All right. So let me talk briefly to baritone players, and then I will play. Now I'll play it in baritone. Let's talk briefly to ukulele players. Ukulele players, go to page 2. I want you to be on page 2. Ukulele players. Okay, C chord. That's part of your DNA. That's something that right now, when I say C chord, your ring finger goes there. You don't think about it. Next week, when we deal with Yankee Doodle, we'll actually be playing it with an index finger. But for now, ring finger is your solution to key to the C chord. Next one, A minor. You're going to put your index finger up here, middle finger up here, 4th fret, 2nd string, fourth string, 2nd fret. Boy, I can never get those right. Index finger, 2nd string up, 1st fret. That's your F chord. Okay, and then everything on this page can be played with a G7. Okay, so into your ring finger, you slide around. G7 is a tiny bit easier than G chord, and so a lot of people like it. They go, oh, there's my F chord. I just roll around, put those two on, and I got it. So you can't always substitute G7 for G, but a lot of times, and especially in the key of C, you can. Okay, so those are your chords. Next, baritone players. This is your C chord. Dun, 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 dun. It looks like a ukulele F chord. And then your A minor. Remember, when you're in F, you're just going to add in your ring finger underneath there. And notice how much more difficult your chord shapes are in the same key. And that's because this instrument, is the way it's tuned, isn't particularly friendly with the key of C. Here's where your big problem is. F chord, I recommend you put a bar on one and then your E shape in front. Okay, so that's your E shape. Slide that up one and put the bar there. Okay, if you want, you can use just the fleshy part of your finger and just cover 2 strings. Some people find that easier. Okay. I tend to play my F chord that way, but those of you who had guitar know you have to do a full bar, and honestly, it doesn't do you any damage to do a full bar because we have lots of bar chords that are going to require you to do the whole bar, the whole entire thing. And with this instrument, since we don't use capos, you're going to be using bars a lot, and the sooner you get comfortable with it, the better it'll be. And then your G7 is right here. Of course, that's your easy one of those. Let me go. I'm going to pull up the baritone version of this. I, J, K, I, J. Do I not have that downloaded in here? What the heck is going on? We'll just use it off of the screen. All right. That is crazy. I really am more organized than it seems sometimes. Okay, so let's play Kookaburra. Okay, I want to do a couple of things. I want to get your right hand cleaned up, and I want to get it where you have choices. And so as we go through here, let's look at, I'm going to pull up you guys, make sure I don't have you doing anything wild. We're going to have your C chord, so first measure or first stanza in Kookaburra. Let's do the thumb. Kookaburra sits in the old country. Okay, let's do it that way. Let's just do it one time. Let me do the intro and then you come in. No, that's not the right G7. Let me try it again. Here we go. Kookaburra sits in the old country. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Okay, so that's with your thumb. All you guys are playing with me, right? And what's happening when you miss a chord? When you get to a chord and you're like, oh gosh, it's going to take me forever to get that one. Just skip it. Move on to the next one. Don't fall asleep on your current chord. If you can only do one strum, Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Merry, merry king of the bush is he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. do it, it's perfectly fine to abandon the strumming of the previous chord in order to have enough time to get your next chord on. So don't fall asleep on your current chord. Just be looking forward. What's the next chord coming? What do I got to do to get there? Okay, and we did that with the thumb. This time, index finger, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Let's go. 1, 2, a little bit slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Kookaburra sits in an old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. Okay, I messed that up pretty good. Let me play it again from the top, from the second stanza up and down. 1, 2, ready, play. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, eating all the gumdrops that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, leave some there for me. Okay, so that's the different way of strumming. It sounds completely different, like a different song compared to your thumb. Claw, 1, 2, 3, 4. Thumb on the top string, above the top string. Index finger underneath the third string. Middle finger underneath the second string. Ring finger underneath the first string. Okay, and then pluck, 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 pluck. This is my favorite verse. That's not a monkey, that's me. Great songwriting here. Here we go. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, chasing all the monkeys that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, that's not a monkey, that's me. One more time. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, chasing all the monkeys that he can see. Stop, Kookaburra, stop. Kookaburra, that's not a monkey, that's me. Okay, beautiful. Different third way of running your right hand. Fourth way, remember from the Bake a Better Bar worksheet? Thumb, index, middle, ring. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Let's play it that way. 1, 2, ready, play. Kookaburra sits on a rusty nail, gets a boo-boo on his tail. Cry, Kookaburra, cry. Kookaburra, oh, how life can be. Isn't that fun? That's a fun one. That's a hard one. And so you've got a lot going on. You're still trying to get your chords on. You're trying to keep this thing going steady. It gets pretty challenging. Verse 5. This is when it wraps up. It just repeats verse 1. Pick any of those strumming patterns. Okay? Thumb, index finger, claw, and arpeggio. Okay? Those are your 4 main groups. Pretty much everything that you'll do with your right hand will fall into one of those categories in some manner. Okay? Last verse of the song. 1, 2, ready, play. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree, merry, merry king of the bushes he. Laugh, Kookaburra, laugh. Kookaburra, gay your life must be. That's what the bum bum stands for. Okay, all right, there's that. Almost out of time, guys. I want to run through, let's just play this little light of mine, and then today, when you're messing around and you're like, oh, I'm becoming a legit ukulele player, go play through You Are My Sunshine, go play through Danny Boy. They work great on these instruments, and I'll switch over to from baritone to ukulele to wrap up our day. This little light of mine, from the just one time through. 1, 2, ready, play. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. F chord. This little light of mine. Like to C. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. F chord. Let it shine. G7. Let it shine. Let it shine. Right? You can play that 50 times over. It would be really helpful getting C to F, C to F, C, F, C to F to G7 to C, right? And so be working on all of those chords that, those chords are coming up. You're going to be playing those chords every single day for the rest of your life. So sooner you get them under your belt and making where your hands will pop onto those pretty easily, make it easier. You have You Are My Sunshine and Danny Boy to work on your own this weekend. Next week we get serious about chord melody playing. So next week we're going to be diving into Brahms Lullaby and Yankee Doodle. Feel free to grab those this weekend and start peeking them over. Your big focus on both of those is to learn how to play the tough acts or the tough uke on those ones. And so just be thinking about how would I get my fingers around these, and that way when I'm showing you what you're really supposed to do, you'll see how close you came up with on your own. And then Wednesday we have your first legit hardcore arpeggio. It's a pretty challenging piece of music, and I offer it to you unapologetically. And then on Thursday we'll have one more chord melody arrangement in a different key, so Amazing Grace comes up. We are already, by the end of next week, on lesson 18 of your ukulele journey to get you up and running here. And so this course goes very quickly. It can be a little bit daunting and a little bit like, oh my God, I don't think I know what's going on. I want you to just let that feeling exist inside of you. It may run all the way to lesson 30, and then you'll decide, yeah, I actually got it now. I think things will go fine. I'm going to move on. Or you're going to say, I'm still feeling in a panic every time I pick up the ukulele. Let's repeat this foundation series. Those of you guys that are repeating foundations, you already know. You're like, oh yeah, I remember us talking about that, and I remember this stuff. Whether you can do it or not is a whole separate issue from whether you know what you're supposed to do. So there's that. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Try to do a random act of kindness for somebody. Try to come to next hour and we'll play. We got a crazy, ridiculous playlist for them today. I'm going to not talk. I'm just going to play, which is hard on me. Be safe. Really stay away from people until you get the vaccine in you. Let's practice a little bit this weekend and try to get your 30 minutes. Well, try to get your 1 minute in a day. That's what I would love to see you doing, is just making this part of it every single day. Keep showing up here. I promise I'll make you a great ukulele player if you'll keep showing up. That's the agreement I make with everybody. If you are logged into Gmail and YouTube, if you could hit like and subscribe, that helps me out, I understand. And then if you haven't read the subscribe page on the Jolly Roger site, go over to jollyrogerukulele.com and read the subscribe page. It tells you what you get for being a subscriber, and it makes Monday nights are ridiculous. They're so high level. You're going to be playing the jazz music that we've been putting together for that. I worked on another piece today, and it is so hard to play, and it is so beautiful, and it is so worth the time. And so you'll be getting to do all that. Also, as we get toward the summer, a lot of the stuff that I do here locally with the main orchestra will end up being enmeshed in this online program, and so you'll be already all set up to do that. So all right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks to everybody. Vic, thanks for being here. Rob, Mary, who else am I missing? Y'all, Rob, you're not. Jim can be a stereotype. He can walk in wearing a flannel, but you're not allowed to say y'all. Do Denverites have a stereotype? I think we have a stereotype of being like ski bums. I think. I don't know. Does Denver have a stereotype? Mary, what? Mary has a stereotype. She lives in Golden. That's a stereotype for sure. Vic living up in Oregon. Those are all hippies up there, right? That's what their stereotype is. All right, guys. Jim, good to see you. Stay warm up there. And I'm going to pull the plug. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you either next hour or I'll see you on Monday. Click.